You shared something with us that really stuck, a report on Palestinian youth looking towards 2025. And the very first thing that jumped out was this incredible, almost defiant resilience. I mean, can you imagine being a young person anywhere and facing the reality that in Gaza, for example, over 80% of your peers might be unemployed?
Yeah.
That's not just a statistic, it's a generation staring down unbelievable odds.
It truly is. This report, Palestinian Youth Dreams Challenges 2025, offers such a vital window into their world. It moves beyond the headlines and looks at everything from their educational aspirations to their hopes for the future, how they connect with each other, their amazing creativity, and of course the profound impact of the ongoing social and political situation.
And that's precisely the deep dive we wanted to take today. Our goal is to unpack the most critical insights from this report for you. We want to paint a picture of the multifaceted lives of Palestinian youth today, revealing perhaps some surprising facts and definitely some deeply inspiring stories.
It's essential as we delve into this to approach it with the utmost sensitivity. The report underscores the immense suffering that has been endured, and our aim is to truly understand and convey the realities it presents with, respect and accuracy.
Okay, so let's start by looking at their everyday lives. Education is a cornerstone, right? Something many of us might take for granted.
Definitely.
But the report highlights that despite the truly challenging conditions, damaged school buildings, restrictions on movement, even reports of attacks on educational facilities, their hunger for learning remains incredibly strong. It's quite remarkable.
Absolutely. That aspiration for education, that desire to build a future through knowledge, is such a powerful thread running through all the information we've looked at. And as the early 2025 reports from humanitarian organizations detail, the situation in Gaza is particularly critical, with so many children out of school.
Wow.
We're talking about the potential for years of lost learning, which has a devastating long-term impact.
Years of lost learning. It's a staggering thought. But what's also striking are the innovative ways young people are trying to bridge these gaps. We saw these mentions of gap year programs in the West Bank, offering really immersive experiences focused on things like community development and even exploring human rights. It's like they're saying, even with these obstacles, we're going to find ways to learn and grow.
Exactly. What's fascinating is that proactive spirit. These aren't just individuals waiting for things to improve. They're actively seeking opportunities for growth and development. And the summer programs, several sources highlighted initiatives centered around community development while also incorporating Arabic language lessons. That shows a real commitment to both personal advancement and strengthening their cultural identity.
And it's not limited to in-person initiatives.
Right.
The report and other sources point to these incredible online volunteering programs. You have people from all over the world connecting with Palestinian youth, offering support in areas like English language skills, career guidance, even just being there to provide emotional support. It's amazing how technology can be used to overcome physical barriers.
It really underscores their ingenuity and their ability to adapt when faced with such significant restrictions on movement. These virtual platforms become lifelines for connection and support.
Yeah.
And those internships focused on assisting Palestinian children and refugees, it speaks volumes about their desire to give back and address the needs within their own communities.
The report also touches on the ongoing efforts within the formal education system to address the learning losses we talked about and to provide that crucial psychosocial support. Given everything these young people are experiencing, that kind of support has to be so vital.
Absolutely. Recognizing the deep trauma and the immense disruption to their lives is the first and most crucial step towards any kind of healing and recovery. Now, if we shift our focus to employment, this is where the economic realities become really stark. The data on Palestine's unemployment rate paints a sobering picture, with youth unemployment in Gaza tragically exceeding 80%, according to multiple reports from early 2025.
80%.
The limited job opportunities, largely due to the ongoing conflict and the dire economic situation, create an incredibly precarious existence.
Over 80%. It's almost impossible to fully grasp the implications of that. The report touches on how this level of desperation can lead some young people to consider leaving to seek opportunities elsewhere.
Yeah.
And you can understand that pull towards a more stable future.
It's a completely understandable human response to seek security and opportunity. However, What's truly remarkable is the resilience we see in the rise of entrepreneurship as an alternative path. The report and numerous other sources highlight various programs and initiatives specifically designed to foster this entrepreneurial spirit among Palestinian youth.
Exactly. We saw mentions of the Academy for Women Entrepreneurs. What a fantastic initiative empowering women to start and grow their own businesses.
It's a powerful testament to their resourcefulness and their determination to create their own opportunities. And the partnership between the International Labor Organization and Al-Quds University, focusing on promoting cooperative enterprises, is another great example of investing in their capacity to build sustainable economic solutions from the ground up.
And it sounds like there are even conferences being organized, specifically aimed at strengthening the entire entrepreneurial ecosystem within Palestine. That has to be a really positive sign, fostering connections and innovation.
Definitely.
Plus, we can't overlook the role of international aid and various volunteer programs, which do provide some, albeit often limited, economic opportunities for young people.
Every single opportunity counts in such a challenging environment. Now, let's consider social engagement. The report highlights the active role young Palestinians play in community development, in volunteering initiatives, and in cultural exchange programs. They have this inherent desire to be involved, to contribute to their communities.
Despite all the very real restrictions on their movement and the ongoing conflict, which understandably makes that kind of engagement so much harder.
Yeah.
It's like trying to build bridges when there are constant obstacles being thrown in your way.
That's a very apt analogy. And again, this is where the role of online platforms becomes absolutely critical, providing avenues for connection and building vital support networks. The report really emphasizes this shift towards virtual engagement.
Right.
And what's interesting is how often the social engagement is intrinsically linked to preserving their cultural identity and actively advocating for their rights. It's not just about connecting, it's about collective identity and a shared sense of purpose.
It really paints a picture of young people who are deeply rooted in their communities and their cultural heritage, even when facing the most incredibly difficult circumstances. So, moving beyond just their daily realities, let's talk about their dreams and aspirations. What are they hoping for, beyond simply navigating the challenges of each day?
The overwhelming desire for what they describe as a normal life is such a powerful and recurring theme. Peace, justice, freedom, self-determination. These are fundamental human aspirations that resonate throughout the report and all the supplementary material we've seen.
Yeah.
That deep longing for a life free from the constant threat of conflict is truly palpable.
Absolutely. It really makes you reflect on all the things so many of us might take for granted. Simple things like safety, security, the ability to plan for the future without that constant underlying uncertainty. The report also highlights their strong visions for economic stability, for better employment opportunities, for overall improved living conditions. It's about wanting the chance to not just survive, but to truly thrive.
Exactly. And they're also looking at the bigger picture, articulating clear calls for political reform, for greater national unity, and for an end to the internal divisions that have further complicated their lives.
Right.
They have a keen understanding that their own futures are inextricably linked to the broader political landscape.
And their aspirations aren't just these abstract political goals. They're prioritizing things like access to quality education, better healthcare systems, and a greater sense of social justice. These are the fundamental building blocks of any healthy society.
That's sure.
And they clearly recognize their vital importance.
And underpinning all of these individual and collective aspirations is a deep and abiding connection to their Palestinian identity and a very strong aspiration for sovereignty. That profound sense of national belonging is clearly a powerful driving force for so many.
It's truly humbling to hear about these deeply held dreams in the face of such significant adversity. And thankfully, the report doesn't just focus on the challenges. It also shines a light on these incredible stories of achievement and resilience.
Yeah.
These are the moments that really stay with you.
Absolutely. These stories are so vital. They humanize the statistics and reveal the remarkable potential that exists within this young generation. Take the example of Aya Habieb, who significantly improved her English language skills through a youth leadership program.
Right.
It might seem like a small thing, but it's a crucial step towards accessing broader educational and professional opportunities.
Or Zubaida Khalil, who launched her own online gift shop. Talk about taking initiative and finding a way to create a livelihood despite the incredibly challenging economic circumstances. That's pure entrepreneurial spirit in action. And then there's Station J in East Jerusalem, which is described as this thriving hub for young Palestinians, fostering innovation and collaboration in the tech and creative sectors.
Exactly. These hubs provide such a vital ecosystem for young entrepreneurs to connect with mentors, access resources, and learn from each other. And the story of Team Palestine participating in the first global robotics competition, managing to compete on an international stage despite facing really significant resource limitations, that's just an incredible demonstration of resilience and determination in the fields of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
Seriously. And then you look at the art scene. The documentary Creating Change, made by students at Bethlehem University, gaining international recognition. That's young people using their creative voices to share their perspectives and tell their own stories with a global audience.
It's such a powerful example of how art can transcend geographical and political boundaries, amplifying marginalized voices and fostering greater understanding.
Definitely.
And as you mentioned earlier, the sheer number of volunteer and internship programs that are available, they are all testaments to this incredible underlying drive to overcome adversity and actively contribute to their communities.
Which leads us perfectly to the power of creativity. The report and other sources really emphasize how art becomes this absolutely crucial outlet and tool for these young people. It's not just about aesthetics, it's about finding ways to cope with trauma, to express their unique identities, and to communicate their experiences to the world.
What's particularly striking is how art serves as both a very personal mechanism for processing trauma and a really powerful form of collective expression and even resistance. The drawings of someone like Shud Rajab in Gaza, for example, offer such a raw and unfiltered glimpse into the daily realities and the complex emotions of children living under such intense circumstances.
And then you have initiatives like The Longing, In Between Homelands photography exhibition, which explores these profound themes of displacement and belonging in such a visceral and moving way.
Yeah.
It connects with the human experience on a really deep and universal level.
Absolutely. And theater groups like the Freedom Theater, using storytelling and performance projects, it's about reclaiming their narratives and empowering young people through creative expression.
Wow.
It's art as a form of agency, of taking control of their own stories.
Music also plays such a vital role. We saw mentions of young musicians for Palestine using their incredible musical talents to raise funds for crucial humanitarian aid.
Yeah, that's amazing.
The direct and powerful way to use art for positive impact.
And the documentary Slingshot Hip Hop brilliantly showcases how a global musical genre like hip hop can become a really potent voice for articulating the specific struggles and aspirations within a particular context. It's about finding your voice and making sure it's heard, even in the most challenging environments.
And even events like Sada, Echo, Music from Palestine, they're so important for showcasing the incredible wealth of musical talent that exists and for celebrating Palestinian cultural heritage through music. We also can't forget the Philistine Young Musicians Orchestra, demonstrating incredible musical skill and fostering collaboration among young musicians.
Indeed. And if we think beyond the traditional art forms, the very act of entrepreneurship, as we touched on earlier, is itself a deeply creative endeavor.
That's a good point.
It's about identifying needs within their communities and developing really innovative solutions in a context of significant limitations.
And then there's the powerful force of youth activism. We're seeing pro-Palestine student activism resonating globally, and the Palestinian youth movement itself is a clear testament to their unwavering commitment to advocating for their rights and shaping their own future.
This activism is so crucial. It demonstrates their agency and their profound determination to be architects of their own destinies. They are not passively waiting for change to happen. They are actively working to bring it about through their collective voice and their actions.
But then we have to confront the weight of the present day. The report doesn't shy away from the really significant impact of the ongoing political instability and the internal divisions within Palestinian society. It creates this constant and pervasive state of uncertainty for young people.
That uncertainty really permeates every single aspect of their lives, from the seemingly small daily decisions to the much larger questions of planning for their education, their careers, and their futures. The report also highlights the understandable disillusionment and a real lack of trust in political leadership that many young Palestinians express.
Which is unfortunately understandable, given the persistent challenges they face, the widespread poverty, the alarmingly high unemployment rates, the limited access to even basic essential services. These are the daily realities for so many.
And the constant disruptions caused by the ongoing restrictions on movement, the continued expansion of settlements, and the recurring military operations, these serve as constant and stark reminders of the instability and the very real limitations placed upon their lives and their opportunities.
And in this kind of environment, as we touched on earlier, social media and various forms of digital activism become even more critically important.
Yes.
It's their primary way of connecting with the wider world, of making their voices heard when physical movement is so heavily restricted.
These digital spaces become absolutely vital for the rapid sharing of information, for organizing collective action, and for building essential networks of solidarity and support, both locally and internationally. It's a powerful testament to their adaptability and their inherent resourcefulness in the face of adversity.
And at the very heart of so much of this is the enduring conflict. The report makes it unequivocally clear the profoundly damaging effects it has on every facet of their lives, their access to education, their overall physical and mental well-being, their future opportunities. Absolutely everything is impacted.
The impact is truly devastating and far-reaching. The relentless cycle of violence, the forced displacement of communities, the widespread destruction of vital infrastructure, the physical and the long-lasting mental health consequences are just immense. Reports highlight the shattered lives and the deeply impacted dreams of these young people, the profound toll it takes.
And the psychological toll, the constant trauma, the pervasive fear, the overwhelming anxiety. The report cites numerous studies that show alarmingly high rates of post-traumatic stress disorder and depression among children and youth in Gaza.
Yeah.
It's a hidden crisis layered on top of all the visible challenges.
It's a generation grappling with unimaginable levels of psychological distress. As some reports have pointed out, the long-term consequences of this collective trauma could be felt for generations to come, and the catastrophic humanitarian situation in Gaza only serves to further exacerbate these already critical mental health challenges.
The sheer numbers are just staggering and frankly heartbreaking.
Yeah.
The thousands upon thousands of child fatalities and injuries, and the systematic destruction of healthcare facilities, the chronic shortages of essential medical supplies, it creates this vicious cycle of crisis. Where even basic medical care becomes incredibly difficult to access.
And the profound disruption to the education system, the widespread damage to school buildings, it's not just disrupting their present, it's actively robbing them of their future prospects.
Right.
The ongoing restrictions on the entry of aid and essential goods leading to widespread food insecurity and severe malnutrition, it's a fundamental denial of their most basic human rights. And with youth unemployment in Gaza exceeding that staggering 80%, it represents a near complete absence of economic opportunity.
It paints such a profoundly difficult picture. But then, almost unbelievably, amidst all of this hardship and suffering, the report keeps returning to this incredible and deeply inspiring spirit, a spirit that remains unbroken. The sheer resilience, the persistent hope, the incredibly strong sense of community that endures. It's almost hard to fully comprehend.
It truly is remarkable. Their active and ongoing engagement in volunteer work and various community-based initiatives speaks volumes about their unwavering determination to try and make a positive difference, even in the most dire of circumstances.
And the emergence of youth-led organizations that are actively providing aid and organizing recreational activities for children, they are taking ownership and trying to create some semblance of normalcy in what are profoundly abnormal and challenging situations.
The report really underscores the vital importance of strong community networks, deep family bonds, and for many, their faith as crucial sources of strength, resilience, and unwavering support. It's these deeply personal connections that help them to navigate the immense daily challenges they face.
And that concept of sumud, that deep-seated determination to simply rebuild in Gaza, to persevere against all odds. It's this profound resilience, this inherent refusal to give up hope. Even during those fragile ceasefires, there are these very real glimmers of hope, this persistent underlying belief in the possibility of a better future.
And the continued cultural activities, the various forms of artistic expression, the ongoing cultural exchange programs, these are so incredibly important for maintaining their unique identity and fostering a strong sense of community spirit, providing a vital sense of connection and belonging amidst the ongoing turmoil.
So as we look ahead, despite everything we've discussed, the report does point towards potential future opportunities, particularly in the realm of education, with continued support and the implementation of innovative approaches.
Absolutely. The entrepreneurial spirit we've seen is incredibly strong, and with the right kinds of investment and consistent support, it has the potential to be a significant driver of future economic growth and stability.
Right.
And their continued active engagement in community-led initiatives really lays a solid foundation for future social development and progress.
The report really frames these young people not as passive victims of circumstance, but as active and incredibly resilient agents of potential change. They possess the inherent talent, the unwavering drive. What they urgently need are the enabling opportunities to truly flourish.
Investing in their development is not simply an act of compassion or charity. It is a strategic imperative for building a more stable, more just, and ultimately more prosperous future for all of Palestine. And consistent international support remains absolutely vital in helping to create and sustain those crucial opportunities.
So as we wrap up our deep dive today, it's become so clear that despite confronting immense challenges and enduring profound suffering, Palestinian youth in 2025 are demonstrating truly incredible resilience. They possess this deep and unwavering commitment to building their futures, fueled by a powerful and enduring spirit of creativity and a profound connection to their communities.
You came to us wanting to understand the complex realities that lie beneath the headlines, and we sincerely hope that this deep dive into the report has provided you with that crucial context, highlighting both the immense difficulties they face and the truly inspiring strength and determination of this remarkable generation.
Considering the vast untapped potential and the unyielding spirit that we've explored today, it really makes you wonder, what kind of truly transformative future could be possible for Palestine if these young people were finally afforded the lasting peace and the meaningful opportunities that they so deeply and unequivocally desire and deserve?
That is indeed the most critical question to consider. We've only really scratched the surface of this complex and deeply human story today. We strongly encourage you to seek out and learn more about the organizations and initiatives that were mentioned in the report and throughout our discussion, and to continue to listen to and amplify the voices and the experiences of Palestinian youth. Their stories deserve to be heard, and their potential deserves to be realized.